I was gonna do the Cthulhu guide today, but I have to delay that until tomorrow. Today we have some very big news. Thanks to Casinova or The Machiavelli on Twitter, who was the first one to link me that with the corresponding screenshots, there is actually accidental info about the next Battle Pass in SMITE. Maybe it's even intentional, maybe they just put it in there as a little spoiler, but I feel like it's not on purpose because it replaces the other update panels. Now, while this could of course be fake, another user, KillerJX Gaming, also contacted me regarding this separately, so there's a very good chance this is actually real, and it also matches with something else that we heard recently. Because very recently Tina said that the mid-season patch would actually have even bigger announcements than Cthulhu, and everyone was kind of wondering what that could be about, outside of the fact that there might be multiple god reworks. And knowing how excited Tina was about the RWBY collaboration, I think she would be very excited about this one as well. And that is Avatar: The Last Airbender coming into SMITE. This is going to be a battle pass, so much like the RWBY collaboration, we can probably expect 4 different gods to get a skin. It is, however, in my opinion, a much bigger deal than the RWBY collaboration because Avatar is just generally a very popular franchise. If you don't know what Avatar is, it is an animated style series. It was made in America, but it's in the style of typical anime. A discussion I don't even want to get into. Either way, the story itself is about different groups of people that are able to control elements in some sort of magic in the most extended sense, and they can use that to fight others as well, and there are conflicts between them. This is just a very rough summary of the concept. I think I don't need to describe it further than this because most of you probably know it anyways. What's very interesting about this Battle Pass is that we see the first character on this icon here. This character is the Blue Spirit. It gets revealed in the show who he actually is, but I'm not going to spoil that if you want to watch that later. But there's something very, very interesting about the episode. So I watched the parts of that episode where the Blue Spirit is actually shown. I will also link it down below because I don't know if it's copyrighted to show this or something. And what's important to note about this particular part where we see him fighting is that he doesn't actually use any bending techniques. Or in other words, he doesn't use any magic. There's a reason why he does that. He doesn't want to reveal his identity, but again, I don't want to spoil too much here. But that means that his entire combat is melee focused and sometimes using objects in between. We also see that this character has 2 swords and is very obviously dual wielding in the entire combat sequence. So it would make a lot of sense for this character to be a dual wielding character. Now I went through the list of dual wielding characters again just to figure out which gods are fitting for this. And there are a few that could work. You could have Pele, you could have Kali, Bakasura, Saket, and I don't know, if you want to really crutch it, you can also force it somehow on Susanoo because the combat style is similar and then he just doesn't use the second sword or something like that. But there is a character that absolutely stood out. It didn't make all too much sense to me that the first character they would promote off this Battle Pass, and typically they just show the characters available in the Battle Pass in the promotions, is the Blue Spirit, based on the fact that that's not a very popular character. There are other characters that definitely come to mind more when thinking of Avatar. But it makes perfect sense when you consider this. The next big patch is the patch where this Battle Pass will most likely be available. And this patch is very likely also the patch where Loki will receive his rework according to everything that Hirez has stated so far. So if this was a rework skin, who is a dual wielding character that primarily uses melee techniques, and who also is stealthy like the Blue Spirit in that particular episode, then it makes for the perfect match. Sure, it could be another character, but what better way to introduce the Loki rework by combining it with the new skin that also happens to be on the Battle Pass that interests people outside of the game, so they can try Loki right after this rework, and Hirez will have statistics on how Loki performs with new players right from the start as well, from a lot of new players that try out the rework Loki and everything. So it really just fits together perfectly in every single regard. This is just speculation. Maybe this Battle Pass actually comes out much later and it was completely glitched here, Or maybe the Loki rework is completely delayed and this is actually some completely different character. But overall, it would make a lot of sense to me if this is how it plays out. And again, it would also match Tina's announcement that the next patch is just going to be huge in many ways. Now, what's extremely great for SMITE in this regard is that Avatar was very recently re-released on Netflix. Apparently it was on there some time ago, like 7 years ago, but now they put it back on there and a lot of people are exposed to it that have never watched it before, and it is actually, or has been the most trending on Netflix, like #1 trending series or something. So it's definitely getting a lot of attention at the moment, and I am sure that at least some degree of that will translate over to SMITE. So I think this is very, very exciting news, and I'm very happy about this. I think it's also a very good move to keep people interested after the lockdown restrictions in many countries are slightly getting lowered at the moment. So they have a reason to still keep playing SMITE. So that's it for this update. As soon as I know more, I will of course update you here, so feel free to click the sub button and maybe the bell. That will also notify you of the Cthulhu guide, which should be coming out later, tomorrow, depending on where you are. Thank you guys very much for watching. Duke Sloth, out.